we can go. It's a place that is weathered and worn, but you can't stay there long like the plow and the stone. But you can wait if you'd like to be born. Born to a dark heaven on earth, plagued by man's greed and sorrow, sorrow and hurt. Born also to the beauty of tomorrow, leading us back to the dirt. The old oak tree watches us like we were bees, just flitting and frittering in the golden. Everybody knows we all died yesterday, and the day before that we were born. Born to a dark heaven on earth, plagued by man's greed and sorrow, sorrow and hurt. Born also to the beauty of tomorrow, leading us back to the dirt. I worry my mind, I worry my mind, I worry my mind till I lose all the time. Born to a dark heaven on earth, plagued by man's greed and sorrow, sorrow and hurt. But born also to the beauty of tomorrow, leading us back to the dirt. Leading us back to the dirt. Leading us back to the dirt.
Thank you for kicking us off tonight, Chad, and thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm Lena Charity Shapira. I'm the Digital Engagement Manager here at Calling All Crows, and we're so excited to be back for another virtual service project. For anyone that may be new to Calling All Crows or the work that we do, we connect music fans to feminist movements for justice and equality. Calling All Crows has been doing this work across the globe with different organizations since 2008. And we're so glad to be joined tonight by our co-founder, musician Chadwick Stokes, and also with a special guest, CWS, or Church World Services. And for more than 75 years, they've helped refugee families from across the globe rebuild their lives here in the US and have supported displaced peoples. They were started in response to the devastation of World War II, and they've helped build the modern day resettlement program. And this is particularly crucial now for many of us who are aware of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And in the last few weeks, since the invasion, more than 3.5 million people have fled Ukraine in search of safety. CWS has been doing critical work on the ground on the Ukrainian border in order to support these Ukrainians as they're fleeing the violence and attempting to resettle here in the US. And we're lucky to be joined by them tonight with Catherine. Catherine, can you tell us a little bit more about the work that you do and how you're responding to this humanitarian crisis in Ukraine?
Sure, Lena, thanks so much, and hi to everyone. It's really a pleasure to be with all of you, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what Church World Service is doing to respond to this humanitarian crisis. We really appreciate your interest in this topic, certainly one that's unfortunately evolving rapidly, the needs and humanitarian needs growing significantly. As Lena said, for more than 75 years, we've helped displaced communities and others affected by poverty and hunger and displacement and disaster around the world. Our vision is a world where everyone has food, a voice, and a safe place to call home. And so, unfortunately, there's so much work to be done in service of that vision. And as we look in real horror at the unfolding events in Ukraine since Russia's invasion a few weeks ago and the more than 3.5 million people displaced, CWS has been on the front lines of responding. What that's looked like for us, we've deployed a team to the border region in Moldova and Romania, two countries that, along with other neighbors of Ukraine, have received Ukrainian refugees. We have begun to partner with several local organizations in Moldova in particular to meet the urgent needs of folks crossing the border, and then staying some in Moldova to wait out the conflict, and some moving onward to other locations in Europe and elsewhere. Additionally, last week, President Biden announced that the US will resettle or receive about up to 100,000 refugees displaced by the Ukrainian conflict. And we're still waiting for a lot of details and timeline on that work, and that's not yet clear. We know that CWS will be one of the key organizations that will welcome these families to communities across the country and help them restart their lives in the United States. So I'll talk in a moment about ways for you and your communities to support this work and to get engaged in the work of assistance and welcome. I think it's also important perhaps to share a little bit about the context in which we find ourselves beyond the Ukraine crisis, and really to talk about the Afghanistan evacuations of last year, because we and other organizations responding to the Ukraine crisis have recently as well responded to Afghanistan. And we can see in many other conflicts around the world also immense human needs and suffering that really we're honored, and such a privilege to be able to begin to address in solidarity with local communities across the world. So since Afghanistan fell, or since Kabul fell in August, more than 75,000 Afghans have also arrived in the United States in search of safety. This has been one of the largest and most rapid resettlement efforts that the US undertook since the evacuations from Vietnam several decades ago. CWS ourselves have resettled more than 7,000 Afghan evacuees across the US. That's required securing housing, helping them to find employment, and assistance through social services for these new arrivals. Though most Afghan arrivals have now been moved into communities and are starting their new lives, the work that we're doing to support them is far from over, alongside the work that we're doing to support refugees from around the world and soon from Ukraine. One issue of particular concern that we've noticed or noted and are advocating about for Afghans is that those, unlike the refugees who have come through the resettlement program, there's not yet a path for Afghans to apply for permanent legal status in the United States. And so we've really been pressing Congress to pass an Afghan Adjustment Act to fix this and allow them more permanent status. And for every person safely evacuated from Afghanistan, unfortunately, there are many others who still remain in danger. And so we're asking the administration for expedited refugee processing for individuals at severe risk for persecution by the Taliban. Of course, we advocate similarly for those affected by the Ukraine crisis and conflict who are most at need and most at risk. And that includes children, women, others who are vulnerable, the elderly, people with disabilities, those who might not have access to other services along their journeys. And really in displacement at this scale, those categories can match so many people who need our help. So I'd love to share a little bit more as we go today about the situation and our response, but in particular wanted to flag something that you can do in the next few minutes even, which is, and we'll share a number of them, but in particular to donate. I know many people are asking for donations in response to this crisis and many other real needs around the country and around the world. To give you a sense of an impact of donation to our work in Ukraine, $25 can provide a menstrual hygiene kit for women. $25 can also provide a hot meal for a few families arriving across the border. $160 or so provides a winter package for 4, including backpack, gloves, scarves, hats, raincoats, other things. And we provide other things with donations in terms of direct assistance and also support to local communities. So we really appreciate the opportunity to share with you, to talk a little bit about this response, and to be together with this community this evening. Elena, I think you might be on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Catherine. Before we bring Chad back on, just want to note that you can donate directly through the stream or at the link that we've dropped in the comments. Please, please, please give what you are able to support this critical work. And now we'll let Chad take it away, and we'll be back with you shortly, Catherine.
Thanks, Lena and Catherine. This is a song by Jim Croce. Go back in southern Illinois. Come on down home, country boy. Gonna make it in the city, playing guitar in the studio. Oh, well, he hadn't been there an hour when he met a Broadway flower. You know, she took him for his money and she left him in a cheap hotel. Oh, well, it's easy for you to see, not that country boy is me, saying how am I ever gonna break the news to my folks back home. Oh, I was gonna be a big success, but things sure ended up a mess, and in the process I got messed up too. Hello, mama and dad, I had to call collect, cause I ain't got a cent to my name. I've been sleeping in this hotel doorway, and tonight they say it's gonna rain. And if you'd only send me some money, I'll get back on my feet again. Send it in care of the Sunday Mission, box number 10. Oh, back in southern Illinois, they're still worrying about their boy. Well, this boy's going home soon as I gets the fare. Oh, but as soon as I got my bread, I got a pipe upside my head. You know, they took me for my money, and she left me with took my money and my guitar too. Oh, hello, mama and dad, I had to call collect, cause I ain't got a cent to my name. I've been sleeping in this hotel doorway, and tonight they say it's gonna rain. And if you'd only send me some money, I'll get back on my feet again. Send it in care of the Sunday Mission, box number 10. Hello, mama and dad, I had to call collect, cause I ain't got a cent to my name. I've been sleeping in the hotel doorway, and tonight they say it's gonna rain. And if you'd only send me some money, I'll get back on my feet again. Send it in care of the Sunday Mission, box number 10. Send it in care of the Sunday Mission, box number 10.
Thank you, Chad. For those of you who are just joining us, we have Chadwick Stokes here alongside the CWS team, Church World Services, talking about the urgent work they're doing in Ukraine to support Ukrainian refugees, on the Ukrainian border to support Ukrainian refugees, but also the work that they've done to help Afghan refugees resettle in the US, and really just all the critical work they do to make sure that everyone can live a safe and happy life. Catherine, can you talk a little bit more about the ways that we can support these efforts tonight, particularly in Ukraine?
Absolutely. Thanks, Lena. So as we've been talking about over our 75-year history, CWS has really developed a variety of different ways of supporting people affected by some of the world's biggest problems and challenges. And that includes direct services, which we've been talking about so far, and I've talked about how to donate. I'll talk about that in a minute again. And that looks like helping people meet their basic needs, helping local organizations like civil society and nonprofits that are well positioned to make sure that they're providing gender appropriate, situation appropriate services, making sure that the unique protection needs of people on the move are considered, providing particular protections and support for children and other vulnerable people affected by conflict. And that programming is really the bread and butter of CWS work. In addition, and we see this also as really deeply connected to that mission and to our programming, we do a lot around advocacy to the US government and other governments, to other civil society groups, religious and faith communities, communities of not of faith, just the constellation of folks that are interested in supporting some of the world's people that are most in need. So in addition to donating money and finances to support our work, which I've talked a bit about, you can also donate household items, grocery gift cards, or other useful items for refugee arrivals to the US, refugees coming to the US, to your local resettlement office. We'll put some links in the chat about how to find your local resettlement office if that is of interest. Like I mentioned, the Biden administration has committed to resettling 100,000 Ukrainians as well. And so we're waiting for some more information on what shape that will take and how that will work in the timeline. But it's important that we start now by supporting local offices and local resettlement efforts with the refugee arrivals that are here, as we also prepare and as they prepare to receive additional refugees, including those from Ukraine in pretty significant numbers. You can also take action by contacting your member of Congress to improve refugee processing for Ukrainians and other at-risk populations around the world, and also to pass the Afghan Adjustment Act. So we'll put some links in the chat again about how to do that. CWS, you can always check our page for action alerts, we call them, where you can see, and we provide scripts and other talking points for contacting your elected officials and for having your voice heard. You could also volunteer at a local refugee resettlement office. Like I said, you can find the list of locations in our network online. That's at cwsglobal.org. Or you can email us at refugeewelcome@cwsglobal.org. And we'll put that in the chat too. And again, that's a really great way if you want to have more hands-on experience, or you want to really see the impact of your partnership in action in your local community. One step beyond that, you can also become a community sponsor. And so this means that you would work directly with CWS to resettle a refugee or refugee family for a certain amount of time and help our new neighbors to integrate directly into their new communities. And again, this is work that you can start now, and also as we start to prepare for Ukrainians to arrive to the US in greater number. And circling then back to donations, because really the best way to connect work happening on the ground in the region surrounding Ukraine and the countries to which Ukrainians are fleeing is through donations right now to support our programming. So to do that, you could also host your own fundraiser. We have tips and sort of a strategy for you about how you could do that, and guidance to fundraise with a group, maybe with your community or friends, and raise awareness about the ways that that folks across the country can support this response. It's really important that I think that we remember and are including in our efforts the vast number of people displaced by conflict worldwide, even before this the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And so as we meet these immense humanitarian needs resulting from that conflict, it's also an opportunity for us all to learn and to investigate the situation facing refugees, migrants, other people on the move worldwide. There are unfortunately crises, every day and in all parts of the world that this kind of support can go a really long way to meet. So the fundraising that we're doing specifically here, and a lot of the links relate to our Ukraine response, and that's really important. And we also hope that by getting involved in this work and thinking through how you can be an ally with those affected by war and conflict and disaster, that work can continue even beyond, hopefully, a peaceful resolution to this crisis soon. We are really passionate about helping you to access people directly affected by conflict and helping you being able to connect your time and your talent and your treasure with the people that can use that support. So thanks again so much for the opportunity to speak with you and get to know this community a bit. We're really grateful.
Thank you so much for joining us, Catherine. You can find all of these ways to take action in the stream or at cwsglobal.org, as Catherine said, and I'll let Chad take us home here.
Thanks, Lena. Thanks, Catherine, for everything you do. It's so great to hear that there are easy avenues that we can all take to donate or take action. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I saw my friend Flo from Austria chiming in. So from all over, we thank you for tuning in and donating and taking action. And Lena and Catherine, thank you so much for all of your work and for being here tonight as well, taking some time out of your Tuesday evening or afternoon. We really appreciate it. And y'all can continue. You can share this live stream or continue to donate if you like. You can circle back with Calling All Crows if you have any questions. And that I'm going to do an old song here called "The General" that I'm looking into. Been talking to some Russian friends or some people who know Russian who are here in the States that might help me translate this. That's just the beginning of what I hope I hope I can learn it or somehow translate this to Russian. Anyway, that's the plan, but I'm not sure my accent. My language skills will be up to the job, but I'm going to try. For now, this will be in English. But thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining Calling All Crows on another virtual service project, and we'll see you around. A decorated general with a heart of gold that likened him to all the stories he told of past battles won and lost and legends of old. A seasoned veteran in his own time. On the battlefield he gained respectful fame. We many medals of bravery and stripes to his name. He grew a beard as soon as he could to cover the scars on his face, and always urged his men on. But on the eve of a great battle with the infantry and train, the old general tossed in his sleep and wrestled with its meaning. He awoke from the night to tell what he had seen and walked slowly out of his tent. All the men held tall with their chests in the air, with the courage and the blood and the fire in their stare. And it was a great morning, and they all wondered how they would fare. So the old general told them to go home. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. No, and I've seen their mothers, and I will no other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes, for you got no time to lose. You are young men, you must be living. Yeah, take a shower and shine your shoes, so you got no time to lose. You are young men, you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. But the men stood fast with their guns on their shoulders, not knowing what to do with his contradicting orders. The general said he would do his own duty, but he extended no further. The men could go as they pleased, but not a man more. Their eyes gazed straight ahead till one by one they stepped back, and not a word was said. The old general was left with his own words echoing in his head. He then prepared to fight. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. No, and I've seen their mothers, and I will no other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes, for you got no time to lose. You are young and you must be living. Yeah, take a shower and shine your shoes, for you got no time to lose. You are young and you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. 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 Go. Oh, now you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you got to be, 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 yeah. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.